don't be a Richard at the Dragon Ball Super Nationals 2019, which is basically code for don't be a dick, but we like to keep it PG-13 here at Crossworld TCG. Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about some Dragon Ball Super Nats etiquette stuff. Some of you may need to hear this if you are, the type of player I'm talking about. Some of you may need to hear this if it's your first time going to a big event or going to a Nationals. And some of you may just need to know what to look out for. So I'm going to talk about what to look out for at Nats, how to be, a good guy essentially, and make sure that you just don't get scummed, because it would be a real shame if someone went to this Nationals and got scummed. So basically it's gonna be a little bit of an etiquette video and how to kind of watch out for particular things you really don't want to happen to you at Nationals. But before we get into this, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can stay updated with awesome Dragon Ball Super content that I post here. Looking for a Dragon Ball Super community of not scumbags? Make sure to check out the Discord in the description below. Excellent group of people. If you'd like to help out the channel, you can check out the Patreon in the description below. Lots of competitive content. It really helps me out a lot. And finally, guys, if you'd like to buy any cards for the Dragon Ball Super card game, make sure to use my link to TCG Player in the description below. Everything you guys do really helps me out a lot. Really appreciate you guys. So first thing I want to talk about here, rule sharking. Please, whatever you guys do not be a rule shark at the Dragon Ball Super Nationals. What I will say is rule sharking is different than, not letting your opponent take back misplays. This is the biggest event of the year. At this point, if you're, if you're at a locals or a regionals, letting your opponent take back a misplay, that's definitely a cool guy thing to do. It's really nice of you to do. But that's totally up to your discretion. Now, if you're at the Dragon Ball Super 2019 Nationals and you're letting people take back misplays, that I understand. You probably don't want to do that. I completely get that. What I'm saying differently from this is rule sharking. Rule sharking would be something along the lines of, if I'm playing a Shenron leader and activate World Peace, I immediately take my World Peace target and put it on my board and don't give my opponent a response window to activate a counterplay. Now, if I do that and then I say, oh, you missed your timing, you're not allowed to activate counterplay because you missed your timing in that window, but in reality, I'm the one that didn't let you get that window, that's rule sharking. That's not cool. If your opponent attacks with their leader and then, let's just say they don't declare draw a card, but it's a mandatory auto, and you say, oh no, you can't do that because you're not allowed to do that because you didn't declare it, so you can't draw your card, that's rule sharking. We don't want that Dragon Ball Super Nats. At this point, guys, if you're at this tournament, you should know how your cards work. You should know proper timing windows. You should know mandatory autos. Those types of things we just don't need at Nationals. So if you're going to rule shark, please leave that behind. And if you are, getting rule sharked, I'm probably going to say this a million times throughout this video, but call a judge. If you feel like your opponent is not being honest with you, is not being of the highest integrity with you, make sure you call a judge. Don't be afraid. I've heard too many stories of people saying, oh, I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to call the judge over. Make sure you are that guy. You know what I'm saying? This is not the type of thing where I'm saying don't rule shark your opponent. What I'm saying is make sure that you're being treated in a proper fashion, in a fair fashion, and make sure that the standard integrity of the game is being held up, especially at Nationals. Now, this is something you can hear for any tournament, it could be a locals, it could be a regional, but for 2019 Nationals, we really want to make sure everyone's on top of their game, make sure no one is getting scummed over. So, like I said, don't be a rule shark. Don't allow yourself to get rule sharked. And if you're not sure on a ruling either, maybe it's not even a rule sharking situation. Maybe both players are just unclear on a ruling. Call over a judge. It's the best thing you can do, guys. They're there for a reason. And make sure you get it resolved. Now, if that's the type of situation, don't be accusatory of your opponent either. Don't say, oh, my opponent's rule sharking me, I need you to sit here and watch the match. Even if you do feel like that's the case, and let's say you don't want to be that guy, you can just call the judge over and say, we're not sure about this ruling, can you clarify it for us? Even if it's like the case of World Peace taking a battle card, putting on the board immediately, you just call a judge over and say, hey guys, I'm not sure if that's the proper procedure, can you just clarify it for us, telling that to the judge, and then they'll resolve it. You guys will be okay. So that's the first way you're not going to want to be a Richard at the Dragon Ball Super 2019. How stupid is that? Anyways, we'll keep going. So next thing, please guys, do not slow play. Now, a lot of times I see this, people play particularly slow, and it's not intentional, it's not intentionally scummy, but if you take, a minute, even 30 seconds to decide on what card to charge, you're playing slow. That's a problem. So if you graduated from the school of Danny Wynn, I understand that, you might really want to think through all of your decisions. It is Dragon Ball Super Nationals after all, but you should have playtested very hard to this point to not have to take a minute to charge an energy. Now, What I will say is some people do intentionally slow play. They play for the draws if they know they're going to lose. Make sure you're looking out for that, guys. Now, a strategy you guys can use if you're not a slow player, because I should have prefaced with this, but most players in this game, not cheaters, not scummy, excellent people. But what I will say is if you are in that majority and you get to your table pretty fast, you're going to want to take the seat that's viewing the round clock. Now, of course, someone who is like a slow player or a cheater can use that to their advantage, but you know, the majority of people watching this, you guys aren't cheaters, aren't slow players, aren't scummy. So take that advantage of sitting behind the clock so you can see what the time is. If they even show it at Nats, they might not do that. There's been tournaments in the past where they haven't, but that is a very efficient way to make sure time is being managed appropriately. And if you are the player that gets the view of the clock, if you're the player that doesn't get that view, you can always call a judge over, ask for time in the round if that is a procedure at that tournament. You know, sometimes they don't want people taking advantage of time, so they won't show the clock. They won't have judges tell you how much time's in the round, but they will have judges tell you estimates. You know, they can tell you 10 minutes approximately, 20 minutes approximately, and you can get an idea of that. And again, if you think your opponent is intentionally slow playing, call a judge over. Just say, hey, judge, I need you to monitor this game for slow play. Now, of course, it's going to come off accusatory at your opponent, but you didn't directly accuse him of anything, so you're not being a Richard there, so no worries on that part. Next thing I want to mention real quick, answering your phone. Please, whatever you do at the Dragon Ball Super 2019 Nationals, I think the world can pause for one day for I don't know, a 10-hour block. Do not answer your phone. You don't know how many times I've heard the story of someone answers their phone, pretends to talk to their mom, and all the while a friend of theirs is looking at the opponent's hand behind that opponent and relaying information. You know, I've only heard that story once, but to be honest, once is enough. I never want to hear that story ever again. So please do not answer your phone at the Dragon Ball Super Nationals 2019. Don't answer your phone at any tournament. And if your opponent does that, you know, respectfully say to them, like, hey, I would appreciate if you didn't answer that right now for the integrity of the match. If the opponent has like a family member they need to be alert for, they shouldn't participate in the tournament if they need to be on 24-hour phone duty. You know what I mean? That's against the tournament policy, and it's just disrespectful to the opponent. So at that point, just call a judge over, and please yourself do not answer your phone during Nats. There's just no reason for it. It's scummy, disrespectful. And even if you're not cheating, even if you are answering a legitimate phone call from your mom, it's not the right time and place for it. So please do not do that. Next one I want to talk about, stealing. Getting your stuff stolen at an event is by far the easiest way to ruin your time and your friend's time at any big event. One of my first big events, a YCS for Yu-Gi-Oh! YCS Pittsburgh, I think like 2 years ago at this point. My friend, it was his first big event. Me and my friends had been to several before that, but my friend, what he did was, we were playtesting before the event. He put his backpack to the side of him by his hips, and then the tables were not heavily populated yet because the tournament hadn't started. So someone just walked through the aisles, picked up his bag, walked off. We noticed 10 minutes later his bag was gone, and his whole weekend was ruined, and that was absolutely awful. So what I want to say to you guys is, of course, don't steal. Please do not be that guy. If you are that guy, just for one weekend, don't do it. Think about how much you will ruin someone's experience in this card game, and then we're just gonna lose players that way. You know, getting someone's stuff stolen, obviously they'll lose most of their collection. That's one big reason not to ever come back to the game, but also it's just a very, very sour taste in their mouth. So what I want to tell you guys, pro tip, I guess you can say, what you guys should do is take your backpack and take the straps, put them around your knees, and put the bag in front of you while you're playing your round. So this way the bag is constantly touching you. No one can really swipe it and walk off with it unless your opponent like grabs it from under the table, but the straps are attached to your legs and you'll feel it that way. If you want to go overboard, you can take the clips that are in most backpacks like North Faces, things like that. You can take those clips, clip them around your legs so it's literally secured to your legs. But usually what's enough is just putting it in front of you, putting the backpack straps over your knees, letting the bag rest like that. You might get a dead leg, but a slight dead leg is much better than getting your stuff, your collection stolen. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see that. So I will say, please, if you are that guy, please don't do that. But what I will say too is you can easily prevent your stuff from being stolen doing it that way. And again, like if you're with a group of friends, don't just say, hey, watch my stuff while I go to the bathroom. Take your stuff with you, because just 1 second your friend takes their eye off your stuff and it could be gone. Now, there's not a ton of people in this community that are like that, but there's some in every card game community rather that do this. So you have to do your best in order to prevent that from happening. As unfortunate as it is, we always have to, go through the world like that, where we have to be on our guard. So make sure you are watching out for that. And finally, guys, the last way you can prevent yourself from being a Richard is to go to nationals. Make sure you guys go to Nats. It's gonna be an amazing event. I know I kind of just talked about it in like I guess a Debbie Downer fashion, but in reality, this event is gonna be amazing. I'm so excited for it, guys. I've been testing a ton. I've been having a ton of people to say, hey, I can't wait to see you at Nats, and I can't wait to see all you guys at Nats. So make sure you go compete in the LCQs if you don't have your invite yet. Otherwise, there's gonna be side events. It's gonna be a great time. Bandai is gonna make it a huge extravaganza. Definitely go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. You know, I have a whiteboard in my room where I kind of just jot down ideas for videos and stuff. And the idea came to me. I was just sitting in school today and I said, oh, that'd be kind of funny. I was talking to this kid, Richard, in my class, and I said, don't be a Richard at the Dragon Ball Super 2019 Nationals. That'd be funny. I can kind of, you know, play with words with that. And I had this idea to do these rambling outros. So I don't know if it's going to work. I sometimes think like, oh, that's a dumb idea. Why would I do that? But this time, did it anyway. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.